Yo, Eagle J, but you can call me Dre, and today I'm doing my TRI-BRIGADE Zoo in-depth tutorial on Master Duel. Let's get it. If you guys like the video, like it. If you guys like my channel, subscribe to it. I stream every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At least I try to stream every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning at ego_Dre at twitch.tv/ego_Dre. We also do replay reviews while we're streaming. So if you guys have any sick replays you want to send me, any funny replays you want to send me, or if you guys just in general want me to analyze some of the replays that you guys have, make sure to send it over to my stream while I'm streaming. That'll be twitch.tv ego_Dre Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. Alrighty guys, let's get into the video. Cool, so the way that this is going to work is basically we're going to go over a bunch of different replays of the same deck. By the way, if you guys didn't see the deck profile already that I had put, I'll put the link above in the card if you guys want to check it out. It's basically my Zodiac TRI-BRIGADE profile for Season 2. So go ahead and check that out before you basically watch the video on how to play the deck. It's like an in-depth tutorial, like I was saying, but it's just going to be basically like different lines of play that you can go into. If you want actual, like what each card does or like how TRI-BRIGADEs basically work, I go over that in my deck profile. So yeah, with the replays that I'm going to go over, the first replay I'm going to go over is basically going to be showing the power of like going first with TRI-BRIGADE in general. The second replay I'm going to show is actually going to be a loss that I got and things that I think I could have done better. And the third replay is going to be a replay of like how to play through like with a brick hand, kind of in a sense, but I guess like not really. Yeah, we'll just basically go over it and see what it looks like. Alrighty, so this was plot 1. I want to say it was plot 1 versus plot 1. I think it was a mirror, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. This was like double TRI-BRIGADEs. And as you can see with the starting hand, I have Nerval, Kit, Tanky, Lightning Storm, Droplet. So this is good going first or second. We're going first. And this is basically going to showcase the full power. There's a couple things that you want to think about here, right? I have Tanky and I can search out the Zodiac, or I have Tanky to search out the Fractal. Okay, Kit and Nerval are like main starters. I can normal summon them to basically link it to Almirage to be able to dump one of the Nervals, or to be able to just use the Nerval effect in general. But that doesn't get me anywhere because it doesn't put enough Beast Warrior TRI-BRIGADE monsters in the graveyard or anything, right? So basically the first starting play would be most likely to activate Tanky, add Fractal, and then Fractal dump to be able to send Kit and then send Nerval, so that way I can fill up my grave. The only issue with this is that this plays into Ash and this plays into Gamma. So even though it's like the full power play to get off, I don't think it's the most, what's the word? It's the safest play. I feel like normal summon Kit might be the safer play, because at least you can normal summon Kit, send Nerval, or link it to Almirage, send Nerval effect, add Karas, or however, and then Tanky, add whichever one, add the Fractal, and then you can basically make Farigite off of the Karas, and then Farigite summon off the other monster. So I feel like that might be a little like a little safer, but either way, it's ending up with the same board. It's just the Fractal is the easier way to do it and the more optimal way to do it, but this Kit would be the safer way to do it. So we'll see how basically I play it out. I activate the Tanky, Tanky adds me the Fractal. I activate the Fractal effect, send Kit, Kit effect, send Nerval effect, add the Karas, like I said. Then we normal summon the Kit. Activate the Kit effect. Basically, I have the 3 in the grave now. I can activate the Kit to banish to make a Farigite. Farigite effect, summon card. I summon out the Nerval here, right? So the way that I also could have done this is I could have just normal summoned the I could just activate the effect of Karas itself to pitch the Nerval and to send that instead and to summon it that way. But I'm thinking of like how I can basically, what's the word? Extend with Karas later. Right, so we're just gonna go ahead and summon out it this way. Make the Bear Brum, so that way we're gonna end on a Rugal. We're not gonna be able to end on Appaloosa here, but we'll have more than enough interruptions. So I basically go Kit, Farigite into Rampager, Bear Brum effect or Farigite effect. I draw into Revolt, right? I draw into Revolt, and then I have the way to put back a card. I can just put back this Lightning Storm. The Revolt's already in my hand, so now I don't even need the Bear Brum effect. I activate Nerval, so that way I can summon out the warriors, the Oath, or the Double Dragon Lords. Sorry, I don't remember its name. I basically can summon out the Double Dragon Lords, so that way I can use this as another interruption time of turn. So here we're just setting up interruptions. I already have Revolt in my hand. I have Droplet in my hand. I'm looking for any more interruptions that I can make. So I just use the Bear Brum and I use the Nerval. I make Rugal, and then Bear Brum effect adds me Revolt and puts back Revolt. So that's basically useless because I already drew into Revolt, which is like slightly unfortunate, but not really. Because now I have Karas as a follow-up during my next turn, and this is basically the setup here. We have the Rugal for the special summon of a TRI-BRIGADE monster, right? I have the Ancient Warriors, So I can always send a card to be able to bounce a monster on his side of the field, sending tanky, or I can just send the Karas in my hand, or I can send itself even. I have the droplet. I can also send the tanky with this, or I can send the Karas here, so that way I can negate effects on the field. And then I have Revolt, which summons back 4, which makes Omen, and Omen will basically banish a card on the field. The biggest thing about this, or the most helpful thing about this, I should say, is that putting up Rugal makes it so that if they force out the Revolt, so say they Duster me here, or they Lightning Storm me here, and they hit my back row, I can activate Revolt effect, summon out 4, link away into Sure Egg, not use Sure Egg effect, and then anytime during their main phase, if they do anything, I can Rugal effect, special summon to Beast Warrior. Sure Egg says that it can basically activate anytime a beast or beast warrior is special summoned, not just when it's special summoned, and then use its effect to banish a card non-targeting. So this basically ensures it like that if I get lightning stormed, whether it be here or here, I'm gonna get my revolt banish off no matter what. The droplet and the droplet is like decent. I feel like it'll be helpful, but only because like I don't have that many. Only because I don't have too many cards in my hand is the only issue that I'm seeing with this. Other than that, though, it's a good amount of interruptions, and this is more than enough to be able to play through a lot of things. So let's see what my opponent does. He activates Tanky, so I'm already thinking, okay, maybe I'm in a mirror match, right? Adds Whiptail, does the Fractal effect. I let all this go through. Fractal, Kit, Nerval. This is all fine. Nerval, add Karas. Now, the thing you want to remember about playing against Zodiac Tri, whether you're playing against it or whether you're playing it yourself, that normal summon effect, that normal summon ignition effect, that is the most important thing of their engine. You just have to stop their normal summon and their effect. They'll get the cross off, boom. That's 2 things you have to stop. All right, going first against TRI-BRIGADE. Make sure that you have enough to stop those 2. So he normal summons Throat Blade. Here's a choke point. I already know he's gonna try to go for a Zeus here. It's either I get rid of this monster completely, or I just stop him from being able to attack. Right. So my thought process is, okay, I have a Dragon's Lord to use, and I have like a Taken to use. This is the least risk, high reward probability. Let's go ahead and activate the Dragon Lords. Bounce that thing back. I'll let him get his Thoroughblade effect off. That's not hurting me at all right now. So he gets the Thoroughblade effect off. He actually is able to dump his own Thoroughblade, which is interesting on resolution. I didn't know this thing. So he just gets that off. Now he is forced to Karas early, right? So now he Karasses. He's sending his Whiptail. So I already know that he has Karas in hand. He dumped the Whiptail. He dumped the Thoroughblade. So all of these cards are unknown, but I do know that he has the Karas out on the field. So now that we have the Karas on resolution of him summoning, I'm going to flip the Revolt, so that way he can't get his effect, or he can't get his monster to activate. So I'm going to go ahead and Revolt. Bring back 1, 2, 3, 4. And the power of Omen. Omen effect. Goes ahead and banishes the Karas. Chain Link. I make sure to Chain Link 1 Omen, Chain Link 2 Bear Brum, so that way I am chain blocking my Omen just in case he has something to negate it. I'm not sure if there's anything that he could have had to negate it. I'm thinking like Orange Light, but that does not work. But either way, I'm just chain blocking my Omen so that way it doesn't get hit by anything. Get my Nerval effect as well too. He droplets here. See, now we're actually playing around things, right? Because he had the droplet as well too to be able to stop me from negating his effect here. He had the Gamma as well too. He could have gammaed me if I activated anything in response to him Karassing in hand. Right? So good thing we actually played around a lot of the stuff that he had. The droplet itself, though, is actually going to be kind of an issue only because I omened before I dropleted, right? So thinking of it this way now, right? If I didn't have this droplet, I could have very easily lost. Or I could have just done droplet first. Droplet, let him use his cross effect, send something to gate, save my revolt, and then have him do something else later. But however, he would have still had the droplet. So this puts him in a false sense of security, thinking, okay, all I got to do is send my card, droplet the Omen, and now I should be able to play. He droplet, he negates my Omen. Omen and Rugal, actually. So he sends 2. So that way I can't summon back anything. I get Fractal, I revolt, put back Revolt. And my Omen gets negated. Now he attempts to activate his Karas. Sure enough, I chain my Droplet. Droplet sends the Omen, so that way I can get the Omen effect to search. Now I know for a fact he doesn't have anything more, because he can't have anything more here. So he basically gives up. That if that was Revolt, that's the only other way that I can think of him winning. But even then, even if he revolts me, I have a lot of gas here. I have Fractal, I have Nerval, I have Karas. I still have the double Dragon Lords to basically bait it out. I still have the Rugal to be able to link it to Access Code Docker if I need to. Basically, he sees the writing on the wall. That's GG's. That's the TRI-BRIGADE Zoo in a nutshell. The mirror in a nutshell, I should say. You just want to make sure that you're able to interact with all of his plays and just be very, very wary of cards like that. Cards like Droplet, cards like Imperm, cards like Gamma. Like they play these kind of hand traps that way they can combo into when playing against you. So, all right. On to the next one. So this was versus a plat 3, I believe. So this was the loss. There were plays here that I feel like I could have done a little differently, but I'm not 100% positive if they would have made too much of a difference. Because he did end up having a lot of good cards, good playing cards going second. But his starting board was pretty strong, and I ended up breaking it. But then afterwards, the crackback was a little too much for me. My biggest thing for this is that I'm going second here, right? I don't have any hand traps, so that definitely adds to me not being able to break his board as easily as I wished. However, this hand is definitely still good to be able to break boards. I have Tanky, I have Tanky for the Zodiac, because if I activate the Tanky, I can just add a Zodiac, normal summon it, use it to swing, you know, make a Zeus if I really need to. I have Fractal, I have Caress, I have Nerval. If any of these things don't go out of the way, I still have Caress to be able to go through, and I also have Desires to maybe look for some kind of way out. So let's see how he basically does his combo. And the biggest thing about heroes is that when they put up Dark Law, it can be very, very difficult, especially if you draw into Droplet. You can't Droplet under Dark Law. So, like, not being able to out the board because Dark Law is up can be kind of annoying, especially for a deck like this. Luckily, we have cards like Lightning Storm that help a lot with that. And also, Zeus itself is just, like, game 90% of the time if I can get to Zeus. So, it just depends on what he ends up making or what I end up having to deal with when he goes in, so... Healing's off, he's doing his thing. Mixed Poly, Mixed Sunrise. Sunrise is a good card. That one makes it so he can pop whenever something battles, right? A hero battles? Yeah. He adds the Miracle Fusion. Solid Soldier gets the Special Summon. Liquid Soldier gets him in draw 2. Adds a Mass Change. Activates a Miracle Fusion. Banishes 2 to make the 0. This card was very, very difficult to deal with for my deck. He makes Wonder Driver, which is also a floater, and then he sets 1. So I know that this... for a fact is Dark Law, right? The issue with this board that makes it the hardest for me to deal with isn't that there's any big like negate or anything like that on the field. It's that Zero is going to do something to me in the grave. It's going to get rid of my board. Wonder Drive is also going to float another monster as well too, right? If I destroy it, it's also basically be able to get something back. And then Sunrise makes it so I can't just swing into one of the monsters. But I also know that he has a reactive mask change. So that's how I know he's playing pretty well, is because he isn't just putting his Dark Law on the board for free for me to out it. Like, he's basically saying, I'm going to set this mask change, and I'm going to wait until you do something for me to Dark Law you. I will not Dark Law you until I need to. Because right now, I have all of the advantage. I have all of the card presence on the board. It's up to you to break it. So you do something to interact with me, and I'll interact with you, basically. So he's putting the onus on me and using his going first as an advantage, so that way I have to do something. I have to basically do something. And all of the cards in my hand don't necessarily give me a way to out Dark Law itself. I kind of have to play into the Dark Law. So here I activate the Tanky. He changed to Mask Change. Obviously, Dark Law is going to do its thing where it basically takes a card from my hand. Sums up the Dark Law. Tanky resolves. Adds me the Thoroughblade because I need to be able to swing. In hindsight, maybe I could have just done Ram Ram. I don't know. Nah, I don't think it matters. He Dark Laws. He snipes. I'm like, please don't hit Thoroughblade. Please don't hit Thoroughblade. Please don't hit Thoroughblade. He chains Mist. Mist adds a hero. Please don't hit Thoroughblade. Please don't hit Thoroughblade. Please don't hit Thoroughblade. He hits Nerval. I'm like, fuck. That's my searcher. Okay, whatever. It's whatever. He had Dark Law anyways. So then I get my Nerval banished. His Wonder Driver resolves. He gets to reset the Mass Change. That doesn't hurt me because I know he can't really Mass Change again into anything. Yeah. So I go Desires. Desires draw 2. I get Imperm. This was really salty because I was like, bro, if this Tanky wasn't on the board, I swear to God, I could just Imperm the Dark Law, and then we could probably do something with my TRI-BRIGADE monsters, and we could find a way to banish this absolute Zero, and then I don't have to deal with it. But because I have the Tanky on the field, if this was Droplet, it would have been so much better, dude. But because it was Imperm, it's like, okay, fine. Let's just go ahead and make Borbo. Borbo, swing. I do the Borbo thing. I do the swing. He gets increase off to be able to equip. That's fine. I hard summon Zeus because I already know I'm only going to make 2 material because I already know the Zero is just going to kill it. So I'm just like, okay, I got to get rid of this board. Let's go ahead and divide an Arsenal of Zeus. Make it happen. Boom. His Zero gets rid of my board. Okay, we broke the board. Now the biggest thing here is I have to make a board that doesn't lose me next game, right? Because I was able to break it. I was able to do damage. I just need to not get OTK'd. So I go ahead and do the Fractal thing. Fractal send Kit. Kit send Nerval. Nerval effect. Add the Kit. I've already normal summoned, so let's go ahead and Caress. Caress send Kit. Cross effect. Basically banishes 2. I'm trying to think of how else I could have done this, right? No, I feel like this was the best way I could have done it. Making Karas make Farajit because that's the only other special summon I have. Farigite special to Nerval, the Nerval effect, banish the 2. Now, I think if I... Let me think. Because I feel as if I could have also just kept the Fractal. Was it that I had in hand? The Fractal, or was it Kit? It was the Kit that I had in hand. If I could have used the Kit instead of the Nerval. No, it wouldn't have changed anything, right? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could have gone into. Maybe I could have gone into one of these. Linked it to that instead. Yeah, because I could have linked into this instead. I could have banished 3, or did I have 3? Yeah, I could have banished 3. No, I didn't have 3. I didn't have 3. I only had 2. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I only had 2. I was thinking I could have made at least Desperate Doom Eagle, but maybe not. Maybe not, because I could have at least made Oath. Yeah, I think I could have Oathed here, because I could have just gone Oath effect, or Nerval effect, banish 2, summon Oath instead of the Bear Brum. But then I wouldn't have gotten this off, right? Because this doesn't give me the arrows to link these 2 into Bear Brum. I think this is the best I could have done. If someone in the comment section below, if you guys want to talk about it, hey, feel free to talk about it, because I'm almost positive I could have maybe done something like maybe go into Rugal, or maybe go into Desperate Doom. I don't think so. Or like some kind of link 2 as well too, and then link these 2 off for Bear Brum. But the only issue is the link arrows, right? Because Farigite's pointing here and here, and if I go into Bear Brum, it's pointing to the left. Yeah, it's pointing to the left. So maybe if I Farigite'd over here, Bear Brum over here, and then link these 2 away for something. I don't think that would have made anything though. It just would have made another Farigite. Okay, I'm rambling too much, but either way, there could have possibly been another line, but instead I go into Appaloosa here, so that way I can get Farigite Bear Brum. Farigite chain blocks the Bear Brum. Make sure you're always chain blocking that Bear Brum, so that way things don't happen to you. I get Maxi, which is cracked. I'm like, oh my gosh, cool, I got Maxi, let's go. I send back Tanky, I add the Revolt, and I gotta think about which one do I want to keep. I have Maxi, I have Imperm, I have Revolt. In hindsight, Imperm would have saved me. However, Maxi felt too strong for me to not let go. And see, this is the fallacy of basically when you hear things from other people and you take opinions from others rather than basically making up your own idea what you truly feel while you're into the game, right? On instinct, I told myself, I was like, I think Imperm's probably the card to keep. But because I thought like Maxi was so cracked, you know, it's always had like this stigma around it being the better card. It's the most broken card in the format. I told myself, I was like, nah, Maxi's broken. I have to keep it. There's no way. I have to keep it. This was wrong. I should have kept the Imperm. I linked those 2 into Bear Blossom just to keep it just in case, and then I basically make a Revolt so that way I have those in the grave. See, like this could have actually just been something, right? Like this could have actually been Bear Brum somehow. Like earlier, I could have just hard made Bear Brum. I could have just Nerval made something else, hard made Bear Brum, and then we could have played that way. The only issue was the link arrows, right? So either way, I have Revolt. So I said Revolt, I have Appaloosa, I broke the board, I have Maxi. I could have had Imperm, but maybe that wasn't the answer. I'm not sure. As you can see, he dusters me and sends my cards to the grave. If I had the Imperm, I could have just kept it in hand. I didn't have to set it. He dusters my back row. I have to chain the Revolt, so I'm like, okay, whatever. He out of my Revolt. I still have 2 Appaloosa Negates and a Maxi. I summon out 4. Make the Shurag. Just resolves, hits that, Nerval effect, Kit effect. I get both those effects. The Kit is like, maybe I shouldn't have done the Kit because it's kind of just burning through my engine, so I shouldn't have done that. I have all monsters, then he lightning storms me. So at that point, it's like, okay, now all I have is Maxi, right? Granted, I couldn't have seen this coming, but if I had the Imperm could have saved me here and I could have kept playing, right? So my Omen and my Farigite both go off. Farigite effect. I get to drop it 1 back. I get Droplet. I'm like, okay, that's not good. That doesn't do anything right now. I get Caress. I'm like, okay, sick. This is where things get bad. He goes to Dusted Gold, send Dark Calling. He goes activate Dark Calling. I go chain Maxi. Let's see what I can draw into. This is where it hurts. He makes Malicious Bane. I draw into Droplet. I'm like, fuck, I just put that card back. Like, how did I just draw that again? He activates Fusion Destiny. And this is where I basically die because he's able to do 8,000 with this. He activates Fusion Destiny, sending 2 cards from the grave to the hand, 1 being Dynatag. And I draw off of the Dystopia summon Ash Blossom. Off of the Fusion Destiny summon. If I drew this in the separate order, I could have Ash Blossomed the Fusion Destiny, and he wouldn't have been able to summon out Dystopia. I wouldn't have died, and I would have been able to normal summon a TRI-BRIGADE and kill him. Like, this basically just made it so that now I just lose, because he can Dystopia effect, right? Activate its effect to target a Destiny Hero monster and inflict damage to that to me. He inflicts off of that the 1600, uses Dyne Attack to pump this by 1000, puts it in 38, 3000, that's over 40,000, that's 68, I'm dead. So, as you can see, I feel like there's different ways that I could have played that. That I probably could have summoned a different monster if I did my link zones correctly. I probably could have summoned a bigger board. Granted, it wouldn't have mattered as much because he does, like I said, he had Duster Lightning Storm, so I don't think it mattered as much. Even still, you still want to be able to think about these things while you're playing out and while you're playing against people, because you want to think about all the little possibilities that there could have been. It's unfortunate that I maxied and I drew into Ash Blossom late. Maxi could have been the correct play if I drew into Ash Blossom earlier, but maybe keeping the Imperm would have been the better play, because I could have just Impermed, held it in hand, Impermed the Dystopia, made it so I didn't get burned, and then he would have just swung for 3/3, and then I wouldn't have died. But yeah, that's how important the minute things are in top tier and in high meta. So yeah, let's go on to the next one. Hopefully that one was a lot of learning. Last but not least, we have the Brick Hand. As you can tell, I think I'm going first, and all I have is Call by the Grave, Droplet, Imperm, Ash. I set Call by the Grave and I set Droplet here. You can also just like not set anything, honestly, because like you don't want them to just break your board when you have cards like this. Like you can just maybe set the Call by the Grave by itself and just pass. But when you have cards like this in this situation, and I tell people this all the time, because this is like one thing that I've noticed about new Yu-Gi-Oh players, is they tend to see a hand like this and they don't want to think. Like they don't want to think about it, because they can imagine the possibility of the worst case scenario of what their opponent has, and they don't want to think about like not the worst case scenario, you know what I mean? Like what if they didn't draw well, you know? They don't want to think about the ways that they can basically play this out to become a hand, right? When you see a hand like this and you're playing control, do not scoop, because there is so many ways that you can win from this position. So many ways you can win from this position. The broken thing about control, especially with a deck like TRI-BRIGADE, is all you need is a 1-card starter and you're in it. So yeah, don't brick when you see these kind of hands. You can just think about the interactions that you can use in like the safest way that you can play it, right? So the way that I was thinking is I can set the Call by the Grave. I can maybe set the Imperms, but I don't want to hard lose to Duster. Duster's definitely in the format. Storm's definitely in the format. Twin Twister's definitely in the format. There's so many cards in the format that just out my board. So thinking in hindsight, maybe I should have just set Call by the Grave, but I set Call by the Grave and Droplet. So you're gonna see why this is a mistake. He activates Twin Twister, targeting the 2. If I said just Call by the Grave, he would have minused just to get rid of 1 Call by the Grave, right? So he targets 2, he sends Max C. I chain the Call by the Grave to the Max C, so that way he can't Max C me later. And I can't Max C him, but he can't Max C me during my turn, because Call by the Grave is for 2 turns, right? He activates a Numeron Wall, sending Numeron Network. Now this is kind of sad because I have Ash Blossom and it does nothing to either cards. So I'm gonna have to take a fat 4K damage right now. Luckily, I don't have a monster on the board, so he can't kill me with this. But Numerons, you already know, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Really good going second. Now here at this point, if I'm him, I'm going into Appaloosa. Like there's no way I'm not going to Appaloosa, right? But he decides to do the Chaos Gate way. Make the Numeron, this stupid Numeron guy that banishes and then banishes your entire board, which I don't think is worth it, just to do 2,000 damage. Banishes those 3 and he just does that. I draw off the top, God Grace, thank God. I draw Fractal himself. The only card I needed basically to be able to keep playing. So here we go. I activate Fractal. If he ashes me, I cry. He didn't. I go ahead and do Kit into Nerval effect into another Fractal. I normal summon Fractal. I think maybe I should have added Kit. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made, but you don't want to burn through your Fractals really, so maybe adding Kit might have been the better option here. Normal summon Fractal effect to banish 2. I hard make Bear Brum because I don't have another TRI-BRIGADE in my hand, so I just hard make a Bear Brum so that way I can get as many interactions as possible. And remember what I said at the start, this is actually just with a hand that had nothing but 5 interruptions, 5 interruption cards. That was all I had, was a bunch of hand traps. Now because of the 1 Fractal that I had, I'm about to set up an actual good board. So I go basically Bear Brum swing, Fractal swing, link those 2 away. I hard link these 2 away into I think it's Rugal. Yep, I make Rugal. Bear Brum activates to be able to add me the trap. I get the trap. Revolt basically sends, I basically get to send back a card, so I send back one of the Imperms because I don't need that many Imperms. Now look at all these interruptions I have with a Rugal on the board, and Rugal's going to give me the follow-up during his turn to be able to special summon because I didn't scoop, right? So I already know that he has this Chaos Gate coming back, and it's coming back by itself to do 2,000 damage to me. I'm gonna basically set 2. I'm gonna have the Ash in my hand. He can't kill me. Like, he can't fully kill me through this. There's no way. Unless he had the same thing that the hero player had. Lightning Storm. Like, well, he can because of Numeron Network. But unless he had, like, Raigeki Duster, like, there's no way he's killing me here, right? So, I go Revolt. I Revolt early. I think I Revolt in the draw phase because I don't want him to be able to burn me for a free 2,000 to get him closer to killing me off the bring back of this guy for the Numeron Network. So I basically go Revolt early, make Omen, Omen effect, or Noble effect, then Omen effect. Omen banishes the Numeron Network. Noble adds Kuras, so that way I follow up next turn. So I don't know why he did it this way. He could have just, because he sent a Kaiju and then he activated Droplet in the standby, which is really stupid of him, because if he just chained Droplet to the activation of Omen, then he could have sent, and then I would have been burned, you know what I mean? Because this one would be able to inflict the damage to me. Yeah, like he could have burned me and just absolutely could have killed me if he just Droplet sent and negated the Sure Egg. So that way it would have still happened, right? I mean, I still had Imperm, so I could have Impermed the monster like when it hit the board, but still, like he could have just tried to Droplet and OTK me that way. So I think he realizes his mistake because he summons it, swings over my monster, I get my Omen effect, and then he basically scoops it up. So granted, I still had Imperm to stop him from losing, but to stop him from killing me. But I had the outs, right? I had the outs. I ended up having the outs. I ended up just summoning Fractal. Even though I took like a cool 4,000 damage on that second turn, I was still able to live, right? I didn't just die. I still was able to play it out and be able to get into my Fractal and be able to win the game that way instead of just absolutely losing. And that's because I didn't give up. You know what I mean? I didn't give up because I had the brick hand. And that's also the power of TRI-BRIGADE itself, because it has the power to do what you need it to do as long as you draw into your starters and as long as you have all of the interactions. Cool. So I guess that's about all of the video that I have to talk about. This deck is really, really good, guys. This deck's really good. If you guys want to go ahead and do the deck profile, go ahead and check out my deck profile. If you guys want to see it, if you guys have any questions, feel free to talk in the comments. If you guys have any conversations you want to talk about, like some of the plays that I made as well too, feel free to talk in the comments or hop into my stream, guys, at ego_Dre, twitch.tv/ego_Dre. Hit me up there. I stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, like I said, guys. And yeah, have a good one. Later, guys.